In this lab, you are going to learn how to automate resource deployment. So you're going to learn about Azure Resource Manager template and Bicep template. You're going to learn about the different ways of deploying the template. So there are 5 tasks that I will perform in this lab. The first task is that I will create an Azure Resource Manager template. Then in task 2, I will edit an Azure Resource Manager template and redeploy the template. In task 3, I'm going to configure the Cloud Shell and deploy a template with Azure PowerShell. In task 4, I'm going to deploy a template with CLI, and in task 5, I'm going to deploy resources by using Azure Bicep. So here is my Azure portal once again. So I will start from the task 1. Once again, in task 1, we're going to create an Azure Resource Manager template. So in task 1, I will create a managed disks in the Azure portal. So the managed disks are storage designed to be used with a virtual machine. So once the disk is deployed, I will export a template that I will now use later in other deployment. So in this Azure portal, I will search for disk. So I will select disk. So this disk now is the one we can attach now to virtual machines, like I said earlier. So I'll click create so that I can create the managed disk. For the subscription, it will be Azure subscription 1, and the resource group, it will be AZ-104-RG3. It's not in the drop down, so I need to create the resource group afresh. AZ-104-RG3. Then I'll click OK. The disk name will be AZ-104-disk1. Then the region is East US. For the availability, I will select no infrastructure redundancy required. For the source type, I will leave it the way it is. And for the performance, it's going to be standard HDD. Right now it's showing premium SSD. So what I will need to do is to click on the change size, and I'm going to search for standard HDD. Standard HDD, this is it, standard HDD, and I'm going to make sure it's 32 gig. Here is it, standard HDD, and this what is 32 gig. Now click review plus create. Remember, what we are doing is that we are creating a simple managed disk so that I can practice with templates. So it's verifying the information that I selected. So we're going to wait for a few minutes. Once it is ready, we'll click on the create button. Validation passed, so I'll click create. So it's initializing the deployment of the managed disk now. So it simply shows that it's creating the managed disk. So we are going to wait for a few minutes. So I'll pause this video now, and once the managed disk is ready, I'll come back. Now the deployment is complete. I'll go to the resource. Look at the resource. AZ-104 disk1. It is a disk. It is a disk. So I'll look for the automation blade, and in the automation blade, I'll go to export templates. So what will happen here is that it's going to generate a template for me. That is a template that I can use to replicate this same disk. So it's generating the template now. Here's the template. So what I will do now is to download this template into my local disk. This is the template. So if I go now to my local disk under download, here's the template. You can see 11:58. You can see the time and even the date. Do you notice that the file is a zip file? So I want to right click on it and extract the file. So I'll say extract, and the purpose is that I want it to give me the file. These are the two files that I have there. Again, I'll go back to the downloads. This is the extracted folder. I have a template, I have parameter files. So these are the two files. These files are of type JSON. So what I've simply done is that I created a disk and I now exported the template of that disk. So what I'm going to do with this template is I'm going to use this template now to create another disk, that is to replicate something similar to that disk. That will take us now to the task 2. In the task 2, I will now edit the template that I just downloaded, that I extracted, that you are seeing on the screen now. I'm going to edit the template and then redeploy the template. So in this task, I'm going to use the downloaded template, like I said, to deploy a new managed disk. These tasks outline how to quickly and easily repeat deployment. So what I will do is that I will go back to my Azure portal. In the Azure portal, I will search for deploy a custom template. So I will select it. So this custom template now will allow me to deploy the JSON files. So what I will do is to click on build your own template in the editor. So I'll click on that, and here's the editor. If you are the type that is very conversant with JSON scripts, you can go ahead now and begin to type your own scripts. But that is not the purpose of this lab. So what I will do is that I will click on the load file, and I'm going to go to the downloads and look for those two files. The one I will pick now is the template.json, so I will double click on it. You can see I now have those files here. As you can see, it has uploaded the template here. Now within the editor here, I must change certain information, because if I deploy this, there will be error. Why? Because there will be conflict when it comes to name. Remember, I already have AZ-104 disk1. So these are some of the things I need to change that are very, very important. So instead of me looking for these things one after the other, I will use search and replace. So what I will do is to use Ctrl H. Yes. So I'm going to change certain information. This is one of the information I want to change. Disk underscore is a 104 underscore disk one underscore name. I'm going to type that here. Disk underscore is 104 underscore disk one underscore name. I want to replace it with just disk underscore name. So I will use replace all. That is, anywhere you find something of this nature. So I will use replace all. So you can see you replace it here, and it also replace it here. Now I'm going to look for another very important thing that I need to change. This. So AZ-104 hyphen disk 1. That is what I'm looking for. I'm going to change it to AZ-104 hyphen disk 2, and I only have it in only one place that this thing will take effect. So I'll click replace all. Now if you scroll down, look at this place. The disk is what? Standard. And the location is what? East US. And what is the size? The size is 32 gigabytes. So what I will do here now is that I'll click save. And if there are certain information that I also want to change, I can still change those information here. But before I do that, there's another file I need to load. Remember, there are two files in that folder, two JSON files. The first one is the template. The second one is what? The parameter. So let me go back to that place. Let me show you what's in the parameter. You've seen what is in the template, right? Let's see what is in the parameter. So I'll use open with notepad. Look at what is in the parameter. This is what is in the parameter. So I will say edit parameter. Then I need to load the file parameter JSON. Here is it. Now I need to change certain information in this parameter JSON. So I will still use Ctrl H. I will look for disk underscore AZ-104 underscore disk underscore disk 1 underscore name. Yes. I want to replace it with what? Disk underscore name. And I'll click replace all. Then I will save it. Then the other information now that I can select, like if I like, I can change the resource group, but I will leave it like this, RG3. Also, the subscription is already selected. The disk name, you can see, remember I already changed the disk name. You can see it's showing the correct disk name now, right? Disk 2. So I'll click review plus create. If everything is okay, if I edited it properly, it's supposed to pass the validation. You can see, I'll click create now. So it's initializing the deployment. So I will pause this video now as he's submitting the deployment. Then I'll be back once he has finished deploying that script so that you can create a new resources. As you can see, it's deploying the resources. You say deployment is in progress. So I'll pause this video and I will back once the deployment is ready. Okay, the deployment is complete. Let's go and verify. So I will click on this button, go to resource. I want to verify that I have another disk. This one is one I created using the GUI, the one I selected those information directly. And it was after I created this disk that I now generated the script. Then I exported the scripts. So I now edited the scripts. Then I deploy it. That is how we have this disk too. If I go to this settings blade now and I click on deployment, it's going to show me certain information about deployment. Look at this. It said around 11:56 I created a disk, right? Then around 12:10 I deploy a resource using a template. The reason why I have to show you this one is that you need to be aware that all deployment details are documented in the resource group. So it is also a good practice to always review the first few template-based deployment so as to ensure success prior to using the template for a large-scale operations. Now we move to the task 3. In task 3, I'm going to configure the Cloud Shell and deploy a template with PowerShell. So in this task, I'm going to work with the Azure Cloud Shell and Azure PowerShell. Azure Cloud Shell is an interactive, authenticated, browser-accessible terminal for managing Azure resources. It provides the flexibility of choosing the shell experience that best suits the way you work. You have two options when you're using this Cloud Shell. You can select Bash or PowerShell. The Bash is like the CLI, while the PowerShell is the way it is. So in this task, we are going to use PowerShell to deploy the templates. So where do I find my Cloud Shell? There are two ways to get your Cloud Shell. You can go to shell.azure.com, shell, S-H-E-L-L .azure.com. But the easiest way to get your shell is to click on this icon. You can see that is the Cloud Shell. So I'll select that or I'll click on that. Then you can see it's trying to give me the shell now. It's still loading. Yes, it's ready. This is what I said, that we have to select between the Bash and the PowerShell. For this task, I'm going to select PowerShell. Now, because it's the first time that I'm configuring this, I have to configure the storage. So I'll click on Mount Storage Accounts. Then on the select storage account, I'll select the storage account subscription. I will then apply. Then here is now said that I should mount the storage account. Yes, I want to create a storage account. That's the best option here. I'll click next. Then for the resource group here, I'll select this. For the region, I will choose East US. Yeah. And for the storage account name, I will give it any name. Let me use Jelani storage account. Then for the file share, I will use fs-cloud shell. Then I will click create. So deployment is in progress. So if you launch the Cloud Shell for the first time, you have to pass through this. So you must configure this. But any subsequent time now that we want to use this Cloud Shell, we don't need to configure this again, except if you have deleted the storage that you configure. It's ready. It's ready. It's requesting a Cloud Shell. So it's connecting to the terminal. So I'm going to wait for it to show me that it's clearly ready. Yeah, welcome to Azure Cloud Shell. Yes, authenticating to Azure. You can see, yes, it's ready now. It's ready. Now I can switch to Bash here if I want. Just take notes. In the next task, we are going to see how we can do that. Now, what I want to do now is that I want to load the scripts. However, before I do that, if I go to these settings here, there is one option here. You can see it says go to classic version. This classic version is the way this PowerShell version of this Cloud Shell used to appear before. And that one gives us more options when it comes to configuration compared to this latest version. So I'll go to the classic one. So I've clicked on it and it's going to load the classic version. And if you take notes, there are a lot of informations that are different from the one that we switched from. So it's connecting to the terminal, is authenticating to the Azure, and param is ready. It's ready. Now it's ready. So I will need to upload the file. No, I have two files, right? So I'm going to upload. So I will select upload slash download. So this is upload slash download. And what I want to do is to upload. So I'll click on the upload. Now I want to upload both the templates and the parameter files from the downloads directory. Upload the first one, parameter. Yes, parameter JSON uploaded. I'll go back and upload the templates. Yes, template JSON uploaded. Now, look at this. This is what we call open editor. This curly brace. So if I click on it, it's supposed to show me the two files. Now that's the two JSON files. That's what I'm looking for. Look at it. This is the parameters.json and this is the template.json. So the two files are here. So I want to make certain changes to these two files. Just the same way I make those changes earlier while I was trying to deploy that template in the earlier task. But right now, I want to deploy the same template, but this time around, I'm not going to use that method. I want to use this method of PowerShell that we have in the Cloud Shell. So to make those changes, few of the changes that I would like to make is to change the disk name. So I'll click on the template.json. And here is the template.json. The disk name now will be what? Disk3. Disk3. That's going to be the disk name. Then I'll use Ctrl S to save the value. You can see it has saved the value. So now I can go ahead now and deploy this. To deploy this, I will type this script. I will say new hyphen AZ resource group AZ resource group deployment So which resource group am I deploying it to? So I'll specify that. That's the resource group name. The resource group name. So which resource, what's the name of the resource group? It's going to be AZ-104 hyphen RG3. That's the resource group. Then next is hyphen templates. Remember, I already have my template here. So I'll say template file. What's the template file? The template file is templates.json. That's the template file. Next is the template parameter file. Parameter file. That will be parameters parameters dot json. Then I'll press enter. So that's the command. Again, you can see the new AZ resource group deployment. Where am I deploying it to? I've picked the resource group and all those things. Now, he has deployed it. He actually deployed it, but let's review the script again. Resource group name is AZ-104G3. The template file is templates.json. You can see, I uploaded two files, two JSON files, templates and a parameter, and I actually edited one of them, which is template JSON, by changing the name of the disk. So here's the template JSON, this is the parameter JSON. So now, like I said, the purpose is to give me a new disk. And now I have the disk. What's the disk? Disk 3. Now, if I type get hyphen az disk and I press enter, it's supposed to show me all the disks. You can see this is the disk 2. This is the disk 3, and so on. Let's go to this place, the overview again. Here is it. Disk 1, disk 2, and disk 3. So remember these steps. We created this one using the portal directly. Then we generated this template, and we use the templates to deploy this one by using the built-in templates. Then for this one, we use the PowerShell to deploy the same templates. Now we are moving to the task 4. In task 4, I'm going to deploy a template with the CLI. So I will continue from where we are here. So what I will just do is to switch from here to the bash, and I will confirm. So it's requesting the Cloud Shell, is connecting the terminal. So let's wait for it to be fully ready. It's actually ready. Now, I want to verify that I still have my files there. Remember, in the last task, I uploaded two JSON files, template and parameter. Let me be sure if they are still within the shell. I'll just type ls and I'll press enter. Here's it, parameters.json, template.json. So I still have the files there. So I'll go back to this same place, the open editor. This will allow me to see the two files again. Now I'm going to look for the template JSON. This time around now I want to change the disk from disk 3 to disk 4. Then I will use Ctrl S to save. So I haven't changed this now. In order to deploy this, I will type this script, this CLI script that will deploy the templates. AZ space deployment. Its zone is a bit different from the PowerShell. Deployment group creates dash dash resource hyphen group. What's the resource group? AZ-104 RG3 dash dash template file. So what's the template file? Is template.json space dash dash parameters will now be parameters.json. Then I'll press enter. No such file or directory, template.json. Yeah, I think I've seen it. I use JSON. So instead of yeah, so this is N. No. Yes, JSON. Okay, it's deploying it now. So it's running, and at the end of it is going to tell us succeeded. So we're waiting for that. So once again, while that is going on, let's review what we have done. We are now in task 4. In task 1, I created a disk, a managed disk using the portal, and I generated the templates out of the disk. Then I deploy the templates directly. That's how I got the disk 2. Then for the disk 3, I deploy the same template this time around inside the Cloud Shell PowerShell. That is the PowerShell inside the Cloud Shell, and I got this disk 3. What we are doing now is the one for disk 4. The same shell, the same JSON script, the same shell. I only switch it to the bash, and this time around we're supposed to have disk 4. If I type this script now, I will see the list of the disks that are there. AZ disk list output, output, I want to put it in table, press enter. You see, I have disk 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, these are the list. And if I also refresh here, I'm supposed to see those 4 disks. Disk 1, disk 2, disk 3, disk 4. We'll now move to the final task, which is the task 5. In task 5, I'm going to deploy the same resource by using Azure Bicep. So in this task, I'm going to use Azure Bicep file to deploy a managed disk. Bicep is a declarative automation tool that is built on ARM templates. So I'm going to continue working in the Cloud Shell in the bash section. I didn't actually generate the Bicep files for that stuff, but I'm going to show you where you can download it and see how it look like. In your normal scenario, you might likely not use Bicep files, but the one you are seeing here are the things you might likely use. So what I will do is that I will click here and I will search for GitHub. github.com. So in the GitHub, search for AZ-104, AZ-104. This is the repository for the AZ-104 in the GitHub. You can see this is the Microsoft repository. What I'm looking for is the sample files for that for this lab. So I'll come to the code, then I'll click download zip. So it's going to download all the sample files for this AZ-104. So this is the sample file that I will be using, that I will use throughout this AZ-104 lab. So you can come to this location and download these files. Also, if you would like to follow the Microsoft step-by-step guide for this AZ-104 labs, if you click on this link, you will see those step-by-step guide. This is the lab 1, 2A, 2B. This is where we are now, lab 3. So I'll come to where that file is, the downloads. I need to extract the file. So I will say extract all. So it's extracting the demonstration file, or let me say the lab files now. Here is it. So if I go to all files, this is the lab. Yes. So we are in the lab 3 now. So what I'm looking for is this file, Bicep file. So I'll go back now to my Azure portal. Remember, we're still in the bash. So I'm going to click on the upload, and I want to upload the Bicep file. Here's the Bicep file. Yes, it has uploaded it. So I'll click refresh here. I'll click refresh here, and yes, this is the file, the Bicep file. You can see that's the Bicep file. You can see it's a bit different. You can see it's not JSON file, it's a Bicep file. It's a bit different. So for those that understand Bicep files or how to write scripts in Bicep, this one is this is for you. So But the demonstration, the lab required that we just need to go through it. So this is how the Bicep files look like. So I'm going to edit a few informations there. For example, I'm going to look for manage disk name. Manage disk name, you see it there? So I'm going to change the value there. Instead of saying disk name, I'm going to turn it to AZ-104 hyphen disk. Disk what now? That should be disk 5. And for the, I'll scroll down. For the SKU, oh, it's like I've passed the place. For the SKU, that's the SKU name. So let me use SKU. Aha. So for the SKU name, what we have here is Ultra SSD LRS. So I'm changing it to the standard SSD. Yes, standard SSD LRS. And for the disk size, the disk size in GB, the value will be 32. Yeah. So I will say Control S now to save. Has this saved? Yes, it has saved the file now. Then I will now run the same script that I ran earlier. Remember that script? So I'll just press, this is the script I'm looking for. AZ deployment group create. The resource group is AZ-104 G3. The template file is what? Azure Bicep. That's the only stuff I have there. There's no parameter. So you can see this is what I want to type now. So Azure deploy Azure deploy disk dot bicep. Then I'll press enter. So it's running right now. It's running. So again, while that is going on, in the disk one, we created the disk, we generated the script, the templates, we used to create disk 2. We also used to create disk 3 by using PowerShell. We used to create disk 4 by using CLI. Now, we also have another way, that is Bicep file. So if you have a Bicep file, you can deploy it and use it to create your resources. So I have a sample Bicep file there, and I also show you where you can get that. And I've used it now, I've edited it, and I've used it to deploy disk 5. So if I run this script again, it's going to show me all the disk. This is the last one, disk 5. And if I also refresh here, it's going to show me all the disk. So in summary, we perform 5 tasks. The first task is where I created the disk 1. In the second task, I created the disk 2 from the template I generated from the disk 1. In the third task, I created disk 3 by deploying that template into the PowerShell, and I run PowerShell script. In the fourth task, I created the disk 4 by deploying the same template into the CLI. and into the bash rather, and I used the CLI to run the scripts, and I generated and I was able to create the disk file. Task file shows how to use the Bicep file. So I have to go and get the Bicep file somewhere else since I did not generated the Bicep files earlier. Thank you for watching. If you like what you saw, consider subscribing to this channel. Please let me know what you think in the comment section, and do not forget to leave a like and share this video. See you in the next one.